Hello readers, welcome back to The Adulterous Whore. I'm your host, Stacey Wright. This is season 2, episode 15, and I'm going to talk about my big, beautiful bookish life. So basically I'm going to talk about the kind of things that I do in my day that coincide with reading or bookish things. I thought we'd talk about first what you can find as its publication day. Now, I was going to make a list of books, but I thought instead I would just do a free-for-all and see what is actually available in the bookshop closest to me today. We have A Scottish Lighthouse Escape. That one is by Julie Shackman, and it's a contemporary romance. Now, this one is so hot on my radar. I'm so excited to get to it. After Hours Air, and that's a romance billionaire book by Millie Adams. I don't read a lot of billionaire romances, but I actually heard that she's a pretty good author. We have Asylum Hotel by Juliet Blackwell, and that one is a paranormal mystery. I actually just finished this one myself. It was amazing. So if you're into paranormal mysteries, this is definitely one you should stick on your radar. I was glued to it, glued. Blood Slaves by Marcus Redmond, and that one is a horror, but it's an African cultural book. This one is on my radar so hard. They've been clucking about this one in my horror group about the upcoming release, so I'm super excited to get to that one. Dead Man's List by Karen Rose. I love Karen Rose books. I love her books. And that one is it's like a suspenseful romance, but it's like thrillerish. It's she writes the most amazing books. Diamonds, Deception, and Destiny by Pia Mia, and that one is a contemporary romance, but it's like a coming of age story. I just finished it myself and published my review. You can find all my reviews at thelionessofliteracy.com. Fade In by Kyle Mills, and that one is a thriller. Gracie Harris is Under Construction. That one's by Kate Hash, and that one is like a contemporary romance, but it's like southern based, so it's like Southern Belle Charm. It's also on my list. Immortal Consequences, and that one's by Eddie Ree, and it is a dark paranormal fantasy book. Cool, hey, there's some really great books out today. There are so many more than that, and I don't have the time to get to them all, so I really apologize for that. But what I thought I would do is I would talk about my bookish world, my bookish life, what I get up to in a day, because obviously I have this bookish podcast, I have my bookish merch store, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm home, I'm pretty much in the bookish zone all day long. So people wanted to know how I choose the books that I read. Well, because I'm a mood reader, I have real trouble sticking to my TBR. And this is a problem for a lot of readers like me who are influencing for publishers. Well, they'll send us a book, and maybe I was in the mood for it when they originally talked about sending me the book. And then I kind of, I got to the point where I don't know, I'm not in the mood for it now. And that's not the publisher's fault. And that's just something that happens to me. So I have to really dedicate myself to making an effort to read some of the books I'm not in the mood for. So what I do is I will grab laminated bookmarks, and then I get a magnetic bookmark, okay? I don't know if you can see that. It just opens up and it's got 2 magnets inside. I make them, they're in my store, and I clip it and mark off where I want to get to. So you can see right here, that's where it is. And this is where I'm currently at. And what I'll do is I'll allocate myself anywhere from 4 to 6 chapters per book per day, which usually equates to around 40 to 60 pages, which doesn't take me very long. I'm a pretty fast reader, so that's probably about 40 minutes for me. And I will have a stack of books, and I'll do the same thing. And when I reach the magnetic bookmark, I will pull it out and then move it to the next set of chapters, and I'll put the book away for the day. That's how I get through books that I'm not in the mood to read. When I'm in the mood for a book and I'll go, I will just read, and that will be it. Now, publishers have a tendency to ship me paperbacks. So sometimes I'm getting 5 or 6 of these a week, and I don't know how many books normal people read in a week, but sometimes it gets a little much, so I really have to dedicate what I'm doing. And normally by the time I'm halfway, I can tell whether or not this book is good enough for me to continue, or whether or not it would be normally a DNF, and then I will write the review based on how I was feeling about the book from that perspective. Honestly, that doesn't happen to me very often because I don't like to not finish books, especially when the publisher has taken the time to ship me a free book. I will do my very, very best to finish it, but once or twice there's been books where I'm just like, this is not my jam. I can't do it. And I will write a review with no star rating. Now, the other thing I like to do is I have something called NetGalley. And NetGalley is where publishers will upload books that aren't out yet, and you can request them. So anybody can join NetGalley and they can request a book. Now, it's up to the publishers to decide whether or not they're going to approve you or deny you. And normally they have reasons for denying. Sometimes it's because you've requested too many books and your percentage of how many books you've been given to how many have been reviewed is really low. They won't take a chance on you. Not unless you have a history with them, then they might. Now, the other reason might be is you're brand new and they don't know whether or not you're going to be any good at this, because they only have so many copies to give out. So when they allocate books, let's say they have 200 copies. Now, if they give them out to people willy-nilly, and then the people that really will review and post on time don't get copies, so they have to be really mindful of what they're up to. So what I did was I have this thing on my iPad called the NetGalley shelf. And what happens is when I am given books, when they approve me for reading them, I can download them onto a specific app from them. And you can use it on Apple or Android. It really doesn't matter. On my iPad, you can do it on the computer. Like, it really doesn't matter. Your phone, it's perfect for that. And all books come in that format. So then you just click on the book and you read it. Now, the other thing you can do is they have a website. And when you go to the website, that's where you can request all the books. I'm just going to see if I can bring it up for you, and I'm just going to show you, because somebody asked me about this and I'm like, you know what, it's really not that hard. You just sign up. They do expect you to have like some form of place to post, whether it be Goodreads or Amazon or something like that, because at the end of the day the review is really great, but it's not helpful if nobody is reading it and you're not helping people to see it, right? That's the whole point. Okay, so I'm on NetGalley. And it literally just, you can pick the titles. Everything's done by categories. So if I put in, I want to read a horror book, and I can go see what the horror books are. Now, when you are pre-approved with a publisher, you'll get a lot of read now. So you can just click on them and read them right away. You don't have to wait. Now, sometimes they'll tell you that you've been selected to read the book. Sometimes they don't. That's really annoying. Or when you get the emails telling you didn't, and you're like, I wished you hadn't told me, because now I feel shame, real shame. But I also use NetGalley with my Kindle. So I have it set up so that every time I get a book and I'm approved, I send it directly to my Kindle and I read off of my Kindle. I only use the NetGalley shelf for audiobooks. That's the only time I ever use that. Now, talking about audiobooks, the one thing if you're going to listen to audiobooks is you have to have a really good pair of headphones. Now, I'm not going to lie. I had a pair of these. Something broke inside them, so I had to take them back to Apple. They're Beats. So I was taking them back to Apple, and I had no headphones whilst they tried to figure out if they could fix them or if they were going to replace them. And I borrowed a pair off my daughter, and the audio quality was horrible. It was better than nothing, but it was horrible. Now, I prefer over the ears because I don't like things being in my ears, but some people prefer in the ears. But just make sure that you have really good quality headphones. And if you're going to go down the path of audiobooks, it might be worth making sure that you're getting it set to the right speed, because I'm not being funny, but when I first started out with audiobooks, I couldn't handle them because I was so bored. But I didn't realize I could change the speed, and it wasn't until my son Thomas hit the button and it started going quicker that I realized that's what I needed. I needed the information a little faster. So don't give up on audiobooks just yet. If you have in the past, try adjusting the speed. And sometimes it might even be the narrator that just you can't. I've had that before, where a couple of times I've had to switch to the book version because I couldn't do the audiobook, and that's okay. That's okay. Not all books are for audio, and not all books are easy to read. It's just part and parcel of it. Now, if you're going to ask me what I prefer reading, for on the go, my Kindle is the most amazing thing I've ever bought. I can carry with me thousands of books. And if the book that I'm currently reading is not sitting great with me right now, I can switch to something else and come back to it later. I don't have to worry about carrying a bunch of heavy books with me. Now, I've always been a book reader, so reading paperback books has just been, it's my thing for a very long time. I don't tend to read hardcovers, like the hard covers, because I fell asleep when I was holding it. I was reading and I fell asleep, and the corner hit me in the eye. I had a black eye for weeks, so I literally stopped buying hardcovers to read years ago. After, can you imagine trying to explain a black eye? How did you get a black eye? Well, my book hit me in the face. No one's going to believe that, but that's exactly what happened, and it was hella embarrassing. I don't think I've been more embarrassed in my life. But I buy hardcovers now for audiobooks that I really enjoyed and I want to display, or if they've got sprayed edges, because that's kind of my thing. But if you, let's say you don't want to immerse yourself into Kindle, you can always go for a different version of an e-reader. Like my friend prefers Kobo, and okay, that's great. I've never actually used one. I am a Kindle person. I've always been a Kindle person because I like my Kindle Unlimited, but it's one of those things. I think no format is better than the other. I think they all have their place. I like audiobooks when I'm working out, when I'm cleaning, when I'm making bookmarks, when I'm doing whatever, I'm baking even. Like I was listening to an audiobook yesterday when I made cookies and muffins. So I like that for that reason, because I can do two things at once. Now, when I'm in bed with my husband, reading with my Kindle is a lot easier because we have the lights off because we're watching TV, and I can adjust my Kindle to the lighting situation in my room, which is really handy. Now, you can also buy things like remotes to turn the page. You don't even have to touch your Kindle. You can buy like these things to hold it and maybe feed you bonbons. I don't know, but it's like, it's kind of cool. I kind of like it. I'm sure there's things you can buy for the Kobo too, but I don't know a lot about it. But I really like the versatility of having that. But paper books are kind of where my heart's at, because that's how I started reading. I never had an e-reader as a kid. I'm ancient. This wasn't a thing when I was a child. It was just how it was, and it was books on tape when I was a kid. So everything's changed, but paperbacks are kind of where, that's what I do prefer reading. It's just what I do. Now, if you are going to become a book reviewer or a book influencer, they're two very different things. I mentioned that in another episode. You have to have a system, because if they're sending you books, you are getting books from a publisher. You need to have a structured way of knowing what books you have, when they come out, whether you've reviewed them or not. If you have reviewed them, where did you post them? Like, did you take a photo? You have to have all this information. And I do all mine in Google Docs, because I don't know, I can't do the Google spreadsheet thing. I don't know. I used to think I was really, really smart with tech, and I'm not, okay? I freely admit that. I suck, but I know how to type things out, and I do everything by date. So I'll do like July, I'll put the book, when it's due out, am I reading it, what format is it in, blah, blah, blah. And then I make sure that I post it to NetGalley if that's where I got the book from. I post on my socials. So I don't always post to TikTok because I suck at TikTok. If you've ever watched any of my TikToks, you'll see that I do not do very well on TikTok. I might only do like Bookstagram, so Instagram. I do Goodreads. Sometimes I do Amazon. Sometimes I'll reject it. Like, you have to word, if you haven't bought the book from Amazon, you have to be very careful with how you word your reviews, because if they realize you got the book for free, they tend to reject it. And if they reject too many of them, they stop you from being able to post reviews at all, which sucks. But you have to have some kind of social presence for NetGalley and publishers to see you as a worthy investment, because that's what you are. You are an investment to them. They want to make sure that you, for the free book, are reading it and putting the word out there. How do I do a book review? Now, people always say, I don't know why you put a synopsis in there. Well, hello, I post on Instagram, okay? So I've got my Instagram post up there, and I'm like, oh yeah, I love the characters, I love this, I love that. Well, people are like, well, what the frick's the book about? Because they have no context of what the book's about, because I didn't write anything. And that's one of the things that drives me nuts with some of the people that post on Bookstagram is, well, that's great, I know the title of the book and I know that you really love John, but that's all about all I know. Like, what is it about then? So I usually take the synopsis and I kind of write a much more condensed version in my own words, because sometimes I find the synopsis doesn't tell the story as I felt it. I will adjust it just to give people clarity of what it is when it's on one of my socials. And I'll post that too when I post it to Goodreads. I don't give a crap. You don't like it, too bad. Skip past that section. And then what I do is I will talk about things like the plot. I will talk about the pace of the book. I will talk about the characters. Did I like the characters? Did I feel connected to the characters? Were they easy to relate to? Were they annoying? I will talk about how good the writing was. Like, did I think it was beautifully written? Did I think it was clear and concise? Did I feel like, if I'm reading a thriller, was that like menacing undertone? Were there twists? Were there turns? I don't give spoilers. Now, I refuse to give spoilers because I think people are looking to see whether or not I enjoyed the book. They're not looking for me to spoil it. So I don't do spoilers. I will say what I liked and what I didn't like, if there was anything. Now, sometimes I will provide tropes and triggers. Sometimes I won't. I think it really depends on the book. Maybe it's even a mood thing. I don't even know. And if I say anything remotely negative about the book, I will never tag the author. I think it's rude. Now, if I say glowing things and give it a 4 stars, then I might, especially if I see that author likes to interact with other posts. I might do that. But I always tag the publisher so that they can see that I am reading and reviewing their books. Obviously, I have this Bookish podcast, so I will spend a portion of my day, like for my Read Like Rory challenge, I will be reading a book off of her list and making notes, and then I'll prepare the episode. Or what I did with this episode is where I write bullet points. I'll go search to think about what I want to talk about today, and I will piece together a podcast. Now, when I first started, I was probably spending hours and hours coming up with an episode. Now, I feel more confident just talking and connecting, so I don't need to do as much research, which kind of sucks because I actually kind of enjoyed the research part of it. It's the editing part I'm not a big fan of, but I have a lot of fun doing this. This is why I continue to do it. I really enjoy this extra layer of being able to talk books, bookish content, bookish topics. I really enjoy being able to do this. Now, I might have to cut back how much I do, because with the episode I do with Hannah, like that episode was an hour. So by the time me and Hannah had finished recording it and I'd edited it, it took a really big portion of my day away. And I'm wondering now if maybe I need to scale back my own podcast. I don't know yet. It's just something that might happen. But I will be doing the episode for the Rewrite Rory on Friday. I just don't know what's going to happen after that. I might just have to switch to once a week, and then I'll give you guys the Toppling TBR episode on my channel as well, so you can have both. So you get lots of Stacey. I'll just take it in turns each week. One week it'll be Rory, and then one week it will be whatever bookish topic I pick. Now, obviously, I have a bookish business, as you well know. Like, you can see my stickers on the back of my laptop. I basically make bookmarks, and I do 3 different types. So I do the laminated ones. So this is a big seller, my Dracula ones. They're so cute. They're really nice. The backs have my logo on them, or you can buy them double-sided. These are probably one of my biggest sellers, the laminated bookmarks. And obviously I have the magnetic ones. Now, these are great for not taking up room in your book. They're quick, they're easy, they're dirty, right? These, I think, are the best ones for if you're on the go with traveling. I don't know if you can see behind me, I have book sleeves. So if I'm taking a book out with me, I will use a book sleeve, and I will use one of these because these don't fall out of your page so easy. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves. And one thing that I'm really known for is the hook bookmarks. So because me and Hannah are going to be doing a deep dive on Throne of Glass, I made a Throne of Glass bookmark. You see that? Let's go stag head and bow and arrow. Like, this is what I do. This is what I love. So I sit and making bookmarks. I listen to audiobooks. So that's kind of how I like to roll. I make decals for book cards, jewelry, but it's always sterling silver, like always sterling silver. I don't use anything else for the findings ever. And I always provide you with a cleaning cloth because I'm kind of weird like that. So that's what I do. So when I'm making book merch and I'm packaging orders, I'm listening to an audiobook. That's what I do. Or when I'm printing things as mock-ups, I'm also listening to audiobooks. So I spend all my day listening to audiobooks. And a rabbit hole I just fell down is bedazzling. I don't know if you've tried this yet, but I tried it on one of the books that I just had laying around that I wasn't worried about ruining the cover. I did the title of the book and then part of the butterfly. I might do black around the butterfly and then Holly Black's name at the bottom. But oh my gosh, like this is the most time consuming obsession I have right now. And again, I'll just listen to an audiobook. But that was so much fun. It took me ages just to do this. It took me ages. And I was mucking around to see whether or not the hot tool or just the glue was better. And it was the glue in the end. We're just about to start doing deep dives. Now, we picked Sojourner Moss because she has so many books and lots of people enjoy her work. So we are doing deep dives right now. And I always make sure I have notebooks. And then the same thing, I will separate what I'm reading into chapters so that me and Hannah, because we're doing it on the Toppling TBR, can talk about what's in the book, at what stage, what we're going to talk about. And it's one of the weirdest things I've ever done, because I haven't done this with a book since I was in school. And as you can see, I haven't been in school for a very long time. This is a new experience for me. So make sure you always have notebooks and a pen. So yeah, this is pretty much my bookish life. I get up in the morning, I go on Instagram, I'm listening to an audiobook, I'm deciding what I'm going to read for the day, I'm planning it, I'm making my posts on Instagram for the books I have read, I write my reviews. I'm a little wishy-washy on my reviews. Sometimes I wait a week before I write them and then I forget stuff. So again, make notes, because seriously, sometimes I even forget names. I'm like, oh God, what was that name? I have to go flicking, and yeah, it's time consuming. So get a notebook, make notes. Now, I really enjoy what I do. I am a bookish person in a bookish world of books. I would be happy living in a house where every room had floor to ceiling bookshelves with, books and bookish stuff, and I could quite happily live my life this way, but not everyone's like me. Are you like me? Are you the kind of person who would literally sit and read all day given the chance? Would you like to die surrounded by books? Let me know in the comments. I'm looking for people who are just like me, that don't discriminate against genre, that don't discriminate against format, who wear the bookish t-shirts, you don't care. I have a tote that's got I'm with the band on it, and I go out and I don't care. I'm just about to get an upgrade on my phone. My beautiful husband is going to be replacing my current iPhone with the new one when it comes out. And this will just be for audiobooks. I'm going to put all my audiobooks on here and free up my phone. But let's talk books. You can contact me at any point. You can drop me an email at litdulterous@gmail.com. I'm open to discuss anything. You want to come on the show? We can have a chat. You want to read a book with me? We can do that. You want to just ask me questions about being a book influencer or a book reviewer, or maybe you want to know how to get started. Maybe you have a topic for an episode. It's all good. Let me know. Just drop me an email. You can always follow me on Instagram at litdulterous, or you can follow me on TikTok at litdulterous. YouTube is youtube.com/@litdulterous. You can find me on Facebook at litdulterous. All my book merch, if you want to have a look, is at bookaloriandesigns.etsy.com, and you can use my coupon code there, litdulterous, and I think it's 35% off. Don't quote me on that, but it's definitely a good percentage off. Or you can go to my website at bookaloriandesigns.com. You can also go to my Facebook group at Bookalorian Bookish Bargains, and I usually post everything in there first, and it's the cheapest price you'll find on anything, because it doesn't cost me anything to show my stuff there, so I keep it pretty low pricing in there. So on Friday, I'm going to be doing Read Like Rory, and it's for the Scarlet Letter. Yeah, I remember reading that one years ago, and I just started it. So it's going to be an interesting week for me. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Have the reading week you deserve. This is Stacey Wright, the Litdulterous Horse, signing off. Take care, readers.